Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Papa Bale and welcome to the channel. What I have in front of me is a test of a trifecta coil that I made. It's 290 turns of 18 gauge, 20 gauge, and 32 gauge. Basically, it's what I had left of my bulk copper, and I just threw it into a coil. I utilized one of my connectors here to do a series circuit. So the power goes in here at the 18 gauge, and then it filters through that connector and it goes out the 32 gauge. So I'm going to put a little juice into it. So at 8, no, it doesn't look like at 8 it's going to work. And there might be something wrong with the switch. So I'll turn it up and see what happens here. Yeah, that's a problem with the switch. Let's see, I might have to put a new one on here. I mean, it still works, but the indicator light is definitely fried. And for underneath the magnet, it's different than in front of the magnet or on top of the magnet. And it'll go a different way each way you try it. So this way it's going counterclockwise. No, clockwise, my fault. Clockwise. Alright. But yeah, this is pretty good for this coil, I think. I mean, it's not super stupendous. This is 25 volts. 0.1 amps. It's 290 turns of 18 gauge, 20 gauge, and 32 gauge. I just wanted to give it a shot. Use a different coil dimension, and the height. I put another toroid magnet under there to get the height right, and it's still a little off. It's too high now. But this is 25. With the transistor. Usually I'm running a transformer, but I don't know about this one. Maybe. I think it might be too much. We'll see. You can hear it clicking. I mean, that is a very short coil there. Even though it looks really hefty, it's just big, thick wire. I think that's pretty sweet, and it won't work without the 32 gauge hooked up. Now, if I had 26, the 32 gauge would be 26 gauge, but I didn't have any more 26, so yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And for those people who don't subscribe to the cookie crumbling, I admire your patience. Truly. But this is spectacular. It's like a musical instrument. That seems to be a right on spot right there. That's going pretty freaking good for no transformer. If I could ever get a freaking Hall effect to work again, I bet it would go at least that fast. At least I'm hoping it would. But look at that thing, man. It's cutting. I felt the torque of this coil, and you can feel it. It's great. I mean, it's not super duper strong, but you can feel it. You can actually, when you try to turn the thing, there's like a roadblock, especially if the switch is broken. This is, I think, is dope. I think that coil's gonna get hot though. It looks like it's getting hot. Now, what I tried to do that didn't work out so well is I tried to run a double power. So I would run the 18 and the 20 gauge in series circuit, and then I'd run the 32 parallel to that. And I tried doing that, and well, the problem with that is with the switch, you have to dump that into another coil to connect the two and connect it to the switch. That is, of course, if you subscribe to the coil is the heart of the motor, then the power always goes into the coil first. It's just the way we do things, because that's the heart. The blood goes to the heart and from the heart first. And that way, when you try to communicate what's going on, you can communicate with other people who believe the same thing you do, that the coil is the heart of the motor. So it's always going to start here. It's always going to start here. Because if it starts anywhere else, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Even if it works, it doesn't make sense because that's not the language that you speak. You can learn a different language and it will benefit you to learn a different language. It will benefit me, I know that. But basically, it's like a mirroscopic thing. You have to, if somebody thinks you should go into into something else first, you gotta flip it around in your head. Like if it's coming out the coil at the end, you gotta try and figure out what the person's saying based on the fact that it's coming in from a different place. But most people that I've talked to believe the same thing that I do, that the coil is the heart of the motor. See, I made some doozies in my time, man. Like this little 14 gauge coil right here cannot be run by itself. It'll blow up anything that you're trying to hook it to because it runs like 10 amps by itself. I mean, when you turn it up to 2 volts, it's running 10 amps. And you're going nowhere with 2 volts. I mean, if there's a converter, but there, you're getting away from it right there. If you got to convert something, yeah, I know, it's great, yay. But I don't know, man. I got to work with what I have. I've been spending way too much money chasing dragons, in my opinion. I'm looking at this. stuff going, why, how is it going so fast? And it's like, well, it's probably a few things that you don't have and you're not going to go get right now. So don't even worry about it. um, yeah, man. I mean, if I can't get it on Amazon, I'm probably not going to get it. I don't have any old stuff, man. I don't have any old stuff. And any old stuff that I did have got totally. I'm not an engineer, man. I don't unscrew the stuff. I frickin' throw it on the ground. That's how I get it open. I know it's a waste, but I mean it's fun. It's fun. So I don't know. That's what I got. Reed switch, trifecta coil, running series, um, with 25 volts, zero point 0.3 amps. It's not the best thing in the world, but it runs. Imagine what it would be if I could get the thing to run on a transformer. That would be the bomb, dude. I mean, it would be going, as far as I could tell, it would be going pretty fast. I'm going to try that right now, actually. Thank you for listening to me rant and rave. I tried, 15 different things, and I'm just, what it is probably is the pieces that I have don't fit together. And when you're working with a jigsaw puzzle and the pieces don't fit together, you're never going to figure it out. So either, I would have a Hall effect that would not be functioning, and I'd change a transistor, and then the transistor wouldn't be functioning. And I never knew what wasn't functioning, and then I did it all fresh and it wouldn't work. And then I ran out of stuff, and then it's like I'm improvising, and it's like every resistor that I've hooked up to this machine has fried instantly. So I'm like buddy of mine, Peter, he said it's the tolerance has got to be up there. So I got some up there tolerance resistors coming. And I mean, it's the same concept as a Bedini coil. Except you're running in series instead of having one be a trigger and one be a drive. So it's a little bit more complicated. And there's no transistor, so it's not the same thing. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that the coil itself can run, I'm willing to bet, off of a transistor. Because it's 209, just let's do the math here. It's about 900 turns altogether. A little less. And with the reed switch, it's moving quite nicely. But yeah, I'm going to hook up the transformer, and we're going to see if this thing's going to blow up. Because it's already pretty blown up. I'll be right back. And we're going to need that resistor before I go any further with this. And that should be awesome, if it works the way it's supposed to. But I've never had a resistor work the way it's supposed to. But it's probably because the tolerance has always been too low. All right. Yeah, and I mean, like, you need a 100 ohm resistor. I'm like, okay. And I get a 100 ohm resistor out of my pack, and it just fries instantly. And I'm up to like 1500, and they're still frying instantly. And I'm like, why is this happening? It's the tolerance. You can't have a 0.5% tolerance resistor on a machine like this. that's not going to work. And I bumped into that. So I'm getting some larger resistors. Should be coming in the mail today or tomorrow. And that should be what makes this work, I hope. And yeah, I'm only interested right now in what's going to work. And if my coils aren't right or something's not right, if one of my jigsaw pieces, one of the jigsaw pieces isn't right, we're just going to stay away from that until, I get a list of, stuff that I need to address things. Like, for instance, just bear with me right here. This thing, no matter what way, how, or whatever I chose to put that Hall effect sensor in there, it would not connect. It's either the Hall effect sensor is not good or the transistor is not good. And you can see I've been just swapping transistors out like crazy. I'm going through all my old ones and I'm throwing them out as they work or don't work. And what I'm doing is I'm running, let's see, where is it? It's not there. Anyway, it's my coil inside a coil, wherever it may be. Yeah, it's got a 32 gauge coil with 3,333 turns in the middle. I use that to trigger. I use that to time stuff. And then it's got 725 turns of 20 gauge on the outside. That's not optimal, but it can be linked to other coils. And it's just, will it move? I don't care how fast it goes right now because it's not, I don't really care. I've never had a trigger go fast unless I did set offset. That was pretty okay. On the 9 magnet rotor, I did 2 trigger coils, one set on the magnet and one offset right next to each other, and when they both hit, be hit on and off. It was pretty good. But this, I tried to get it to hit, and you need the resistor. You have to have it. Because it'll hit like 4 or 5 times in a row, and it'll get going like that fast, and then it'll freeze up. Now with that resistor, I'm hoping that transformer will kick in, and I could turn it all the way up if I wanted to. Get like 345 volts running through this thing. Yeah, that'll be awesome. I just hope it works out the way I think it will. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. Have a good day. Please subscribe. Bye now. Thank you for watching.